Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Here we go. YouTube. What's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another live, guys. And tonight's live is going to be on week 12, waiver wire ads. Yes, guys, week 12, waiver wire ads. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. I said what I said. This is cutting edge content. So, guys, let me tell you what happened to I had a too early waiver wire video coming out for you Monday, and the thing got on stuck. It wouldn't upload. So by the time I woke up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, the video hadn't been uploaded. And the way I talked on the video, it didn't make sense. I didn't want an old video popping up. So, guys, when I'm uploading the video and I'm not on the right Wi-Fi, it takes a long time for the video to upload. So that's why I didn't do the early waiver wire video. So a lot of you, I see you come in the comments and ask, hey, man, how you doing, man? You good? And I appreciate that, guys. Yes, I am good. I'm grinding, going through it, fighting for my cars, fighting for everything. She coming for blood. So, but it's all good. It's all good. It only makes me stronger. Remember, I'm an athlete. The more you push me in the corner, the harder I fight. So appreciate everybody being here. Let's get these guys off waivers. You have any recommendations? Put it in the comment section. Any questions you have, guys, put it in the comment section. And I'm kind of just going to go through this waiver wire. It's going to be not too long, but it's, this is a detailed waiver wire video. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate everybody being here. Yes, sir. Okay. So let's begin, guys. Let me start with the quarterbacks. So the first quarterback that I want to talk about is going to be Bryce Young. Now, I got Bryce Young in a bunch of best ball leagues that I'm not doing. This is probably my worst best ball year as far as on Underdog and Draftkings. I'm not doing as well as I usually do. But I think it's a couple players that haven't been booming. And I think one of them is Bryce Young. But now, like every now and then, you will see what he came in. And that's why I tell y'all. Y'all think I just be saying stuff to say stuff. Don't say these guys suck, because it's going to make you look like a fool, right? You don't never want, I'm going to tell y'all one thing. You never want to be the guy that says somebody sucks, ugly, nasty, disgusting, and they prove your ass wrong. And only men can understand that. Women have opinions and they don't care. They don't care. But men, your opinion is going to be held accountable. Everybody gonna hold your opinion. Women, your mom, your father, your uncles, they're gonna hold your opinion, and you gotta be for real. So if you talk about another man downfall and he outdo it, and to sit there and say, well, it's just my opinion, I just said it, that's a weak man. Everything that I say is my word and my bond. I don't cap. So that's why I don't like to say that a certain player sucks, because Bryce Young, every now and then, he'll put up that 400 yard, 40 point, 30 point, 40 point, 30 point, 40 point, 30 point. 50 point. He put it up last week. So you know what? It's getting into the third and fourth quadrant. And this is why my channel is unique. This is why my channel is hitting, right? This is why my channel is growing. You don't see people doing vertical lives, talking about waiver wire videos and popping it out anywhere. But the reason why my channel is cutting edge is because of the quadrants. The quadrants. And the only way that you can think about and be looking at Bryce Young is because of a damn quadrant. Not because, well, I think he's going to ball out week 13. You don't know. But you know that young players or players that are struggling in a certain quadrant of the season, it can get better if you see the talent. We know that Bryce Young was a #1 overall pick, and we saw him play against a lot of his alumni's counterparts where he outperformed them. He was one of the best quarterbacks in college football, period. It don't matter how tall he was, his size, he could ball. He was very accurate. He was very intelligent. He did a lot of good things. That's why he was the #1 overall pick. So you have to give him time to grow. We all grow. Anybody got any friends in here that grew later in life? Like, man, he looks like he's going to be on drugs. He looks like he's doing this. He don't care nothing about this. And then he have a kid or something, and then his whole life changed. And now he balling out, man. He got 2 houses. He got 2 or 3 cars. Like, things like that change. So you got to get, people grow at different levels. So I want y'all to give Bryce Young that space to grow. Just don't say he sucked, because if I hear y'all saying he sucked, I'm gonna pay attention. And then when he start balling out, you be like, "Hey, Bryce Young through the roof." I'm gonna call you out on the live because you said he sucked, not because you wasn't on him, because you said he sucked. So Bryce Young, guys, playing against the San Francisco 49ers, week 12. San Francisco has been giving it up behind the dumpster when it comes to the passing game. They don't have DBs to stop that passing game. Their linebackers cannot cover out in space. So people has been, getting off on them. Pause. So I like Bryce Young going forward. I said what I said. I like Bryce Young going forward. No, Down Syndrome said, "You a woman?" No. I came out of a woman, but I'm not a woman. And you can come to North Carolina if you want to meet me. No problem. No hard feelings, bro. Just all peace. Appreciate you being here, Down Syndrome. I don't think you got Down Syndrome. I think you need to overcome that, bro. Next, let's go to another quarterback. And Bryce Young is one of my favorites, but that ain't my number one guy. Next, let's talk about Kirk Cousins. Not Kurt with the T, but Kirk with the K. Kirk Cousins. Listen, I really don't want to play nobody on Atlanta. I mean, would I play Kyle Pitts? Maybe. Would I play Bijan? Yes. Outside of that, I'm not really high on nobody. Yes, I'm gonna talk about Darnell Mooney a little bit later, but no, I'm not really high on anybody. I need Kirk Cousins to show me. Let me see it. I need to see it. I need to see it first. So Kirk Cousins, guys, if you need to pick up somebody, Darnell Mooney is a really good target for Kirk Cousins when he starts for the Atlanta Falcons. New Orleans defense is not that great. So, yes, Kirk Cousins. Tyrod Taylor is my next quarterback that I want to talk about. Now, listen, he has a tough matchup, but we've been talking about Tyrod Taylor for, a month? Justin Fields ain't him. Justin Fields is not him. And what I mean not him, I think Justin Fields is a good quarterback, but he's not him for the New York Jets where you can go and play him and think he's going to boom. He had a few booms early in the season. So now they're going to Tyrod Taylor to stable off this offense. So now you can get to Mason Taylor. Now you can get to A.D. Mitchell. You can play some of these guys. I think Tyrod Taylor, being a veteran, calms everybody else down. This is a young team. So they need a veteran presence out there. Like, Justin Fields is a veteran, but he's not the vet that Tyrod been in the league 15 years. So Tyrod Taylor, guys, not this week going against Baltimore, but going forward, if you need a super flex quarterback, I think this is a good guy to pick up. He's safe. And sometimes you need safe plays at the quarterback position. A safe play at the quarterback position is 18 points. That's a boom week from most positions. All right? So Tyrod Taylor is another guy. Let's move on to Jameis Winston, who's going against the Detroit Lions. And he don't really have a lot of weapons. I like Jameis Winston, but he don't have Malik Neighbors. So who is he hyper-targeting? Wan'Dale Robinson, who's a short 5'9" wide receiver in the slot? Is it going to be Jalen Hyatt, who's just seems like a gadget guy? Like they don't want to use him for his regular routes? I don't know. Theo Johnson. I'm not really big on trying to stream Jameis Winston, but we all know that he will push the ball downfield. And guess what? He might not even start. Jackson Dart could be back this week. But the only reason, and I had a commenter or a subscriber say, "Well, TD, I'm not getting off Jackson Dart just because they said he ain't gonna run the ball as much." Well, I get that, and that's what you're supposed to say. I mean that genuinely. But if he ain't gonna be getting those rushing touchdowns, bro, I'm not dealing with that. I mean, he's a great player. I don't want to say great, but he's a really good player. But if he ain't getting those goal line touches, that's not the Jackson Dart that I want to play. So that's the only thing that I'm saying. So, but like I said, I like Jameis Winston. He could start. They could hold Jackson Dart out one more week. But if they don't, it's no big deal. I don't think Jameis Winston has probably got the weapons that he need for him to be Jameis Winston, like a Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku. I don't see those type of talented guys out there. Okay, let's move on. Last but not least, my last quarterback. This is my favorite guy. It's going to be Shedeur Sanders. Now, I'm not saying Shedeur Sanders just because he's one of my favorite college quarterbacks that I picked this year, but he's playing against the Las Vegas Raiders, and they giving it up behind the dumpster. They got a good D-line, but their secondary and everything else is not really shutting nobody down. So Shedeur is going to prepare like it's his last job that he would have on earth. So I'm going to go down with that ship if I need to stream a quarterback, far as in single quarterback leagues or super flex. All right, let's get to the running backs. The first running back that I want to talk about is going to be Emmanuel Wilson from the Green Bay Packers. And listen, guys, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I got to mention him because he is the backup running back to Josh Jacobs, who should get 60% of the carries or 70%. But I'm just not, especially going against Minnesota, I'm not shocked by this. I don't think he's going to go out for 40 points. To me, this is a 10-point type guy because the way Matt LaFleur call plays, I just don't trust Emmanuel Wilson. Maybe he goes out there and boom, but I need to see it. So be careful spending a bunch of fab on him because you could be disappointed. To me, it's the other players out there that I would rather spend fab on for probably the same price or cheaper that I think is going to give you better value and long-lasting value. I think Emmanuel Wilson is just going to be out to be good for you for 2 weeks, and he might not even give you any boom. Moving on, Sean Tucker. Yes, Sean Tucker, guys. Hopefully, a lot of you play Sean Tucker. If you didn't, it's okay, but you have him now. Especially in Dynasty, go buy low on him. But in redraft, you can start him this week, depending on if Bucky's out. And Rachaad White is going to be the third string guy. Rachaad White and Sean Tucker will switch spots. You know how Sean Tucker used to be the third guy? Well, I think it's going to be Rachaad White now. So Sean Tucker, guys, is Bucky Irvin is out. I think he's a start. If Bucky Irvin plays, then I think he's a flex play if you need a running back. He's playing against LA, and that's a bad matchup. But, you know, they gave it up to Kenneth Walker, right? Kenneth Walker had a good game, so they didn't shut down Kenneth Walker. So I think Sean Tucker could be a little bit better than Kenneth Walker. So don't be scared to play Sean Tucker if Bucky Irvin is out. Moving on to another guy. This is more of a stash guy, but I had to mention him. With the injury to Jaylen Warren for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I like Caleb Johnson. So listen, guys, it's getting into that fourth quadrant. Start picking up and stashing guys like Caleb Johnson. You never know. Now, he's playing against a tough matchup, which is that Cleveland? No, that's not Cleveland. They're not playing against Cleveland. Guys, I can't even read my own handwriting with this pen that didn't work. But either way, Chicago. I'm sorry, Chicago. He's playing against Chicago. So Chicago is actually giving up behind the dumpster. Now, is Caleb Williams going to boom this week? No, probably not. But you need to have him stashed. If another injury happened in his backfield, Caleb Johnson can come out and get 15 touches. So just start stashing guys like a Caleb Johnson with the Jaylen Warren injury. If Jaylen Warren practices this week, then you can drop Caleb Johnson. So don't spend a bunch of fab on him. Spend something where if it doesn't work out, if he don't have the role that we think he can have with the injuries, then you can drop him. So don't spend a bunch of fab on him. All right. And also I want to mention Kenneth Gainwell. If Kenneth Gainwell's out there because of the Jaylen Warren injury, you can pick him up. So Kenneth Gainwell is going to be the starter if Jaylen Warren is out. But also Caleb Johnson will get carries too. So Kenneth Gainwell is probably the number one guy that you need to pick up if Jaylen Warren is not playing. All right, let's move on to the wide receivers. The first wide receiver I want to talk about is Cedric Tillman. Now, listen, I haven't mentioned Cedric Tillman since like week 2 or 3, but now I'm going to mention him because Shadur Sanders is getting ready to start. And when Shadur, excuse me, when Shadur Sanders is in the game, these wide receivers' value is going to go back up to what they were. Like, we thought they could be top 24, top 32 guys. They've been outside of that. But with Shadur Sanders, you see how he's getting outside the pocket. When he's protected, he can make big plays. And he has that in him. He's like his father. He's going to go for that pick 6, right? He's going to go in for that touchdown, that's 6 points. So I like Cedric Tillman to have 5 or 6 targets and maybe one for a touchdown. So he's going to have some big plays. So is Jerry Jeudy. If Jerry Jeudy is out there on your waivers, you got to pick him up too. All right. Moving on is going to be Xavier Leggett. And that's one of my guys that I was on, and he hasn't done nothing. He had 2 good games all season. But I like Xavier Leggett. I think this is a key for Bryce Young to keep pushing the ball downfield. So I'm telling you, I'm telling y'all to stash him if you don't want to play him. But you don't want this guy to start going off and somebody pick him up. And then they are a top team because they got him in the flex and he's on fire. I think he could get on. He could get hot. Right? Pause. San Francisco is not a great matchup now. He's injured, so I want you to pay attention to Jalen Coker too. So if you don't think Leggett is going to play, then you pick up Coker. So it's between those two guys. Me, I'm a Leggett guy right now. If Leggett is healthy, I'm going to play Leggett over Coker. But if Leggett is out, Coker will have a good game. All right, moving on to another wide receiver is going to be Ricky Pearsall. He shouldn't be out there, but I had to mention him. He's getting more healthy. He came out there. That's why they didn't give him a lot of snaps because he was hurt. But now I think him having 1 week off that injury, I think he's going to get a little bit more targets and more targets. And by the time you get into your fantasy football playoff time, Ricky Pearsall could be a league winner. Another wide receiver that I want to talk about is going to be Darnell Mooney. Yes, Darnell Mooney, and he's playing against the New Orleans Saints, and they've been giving it up. They had a couple good outings, but not nothing to scare you. So with Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney, that's a tandem. Like, he hyper-targeted Darnell Mooney all last year. Darnell Mooney outperformed Drake London a lot last year, and 2 Michael Penix got in the game. So I like Darnell Mooney, guys, while Kirk Cousins is starting. If you see him out there, you can start him this week with Kirk Cousins, and I think Michael Penix might be out for the rest of the season. Another guy I want to talk about is one of my favorite players in the league. Is going to be Christian Watson. And guys, I think we finally have a #1 wide receiver for Green Bay. We've seen 2 consistent weeks. We haven't seen 2 consistent weeks from this team in probably since last year. So I like Christian Watson as a deep threat. A deep threat. 40 points, 50 points. 40 points, 50 points. This is a boom guy. He can catch it 60 and take it to the crib. And another guy, more of a stash, is going to be Luther Burden from the Chicago Bears. We was on Luther a couple weeks ago, but we had to get off. But guys, with this new team, remember we talked about Caleb Williams getting good later in the season? I think Luther Burden is going to be a guy. Alameda is dropping passes. So they trying to transition over to Luther Burden to take that role. He had 5 targets last week. That was his second most targets all season long. All right, let's move on to my tight ends. Pause. My first tight end is Hunter Henry. He's playing against Cincinnati, so I had to mention him. He's been volatile when it comes to playing with Drake May. Everybody's volatile. Travion Henderson was volatile. Ramondre, the only person that wasn't volatile was Drake May. So when you go to a New England player, even Stephon Diggs, which I think he's getting ready to break out. So if you in a dynasty league and you can trade for Stephon Diggs for a 2nd or 3rd round going into next year, he got 2 more years. He got this year and next year. Next year, Stephon Diggs with Drake May going to be on fire. So I'm telling you now, if you're in dynasty, go get Stephon Diggs. But Hunter Henry, far as a tight end, if I need to stream a tight end this week, I'm going to Hunter Henry going against the Cincinnati Bengals. And what are they doing, guys? I want everybody to put it in the chat right now. What are the Cincinnati Bengals defense doing? Put it in the chat. I want y'all to spam the chat right now. I'm not going to say another word until y'all spam the chat with, what is the Cincinnati Bengals? What are they doing? Cincinnati Bengals. He says trash. But what are they doing? What are they doing? What did I tell y'all that they doing? Giving it up behind the dumpster. They giving it up behind the dumpster. Yes, there you go, Big Will. I say Big Will in the house. I say Big Will in the house. Watch your mouth. Yes, they giving it up behind the dumpster. So I'm going to play all teams playing Cincinnati. Let me tell you what team where their father came and got them because they caught them behind the dumpster. The Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys' father found out that they was giving it up behind the dumpster and went out there, fought all those young boys, knocked a couple of them out. They took off running, and he's about to send his daughter to Florida to rehab. I said what I said. The Dallas Cowboys is no longer that, oh my God, they playing against Dallas. They giving up behind the dumpster. I don't think Dallas giving up behind the dumpster. They are going to rehab, man. And sometimes people change their life. Sometimes people change their life. All right. Going on to the next tight end, pause, is going to be Mason Taylor because of Tyrod Taylor. I like Mason Taylor early in the season when Justin Fields was starting to target him a little bit. And then I saw how Justin Fields was up and down. I said, listen, I'm getting off of that. I'm not doing that. Just like a relationship. 1 minute a woman happy and 1 minute she angry. 1 minute she happy and 1 minute she angry. You got to get out of that relationship because it's gonna go. You're gonna go down with it. So that's why I got off Justin Fields. But when it comes to Mason Taylor with Tyrod is like this. He's level, right? That's why a lot of coaches that come in as a new head coach and you don't got a quarterback, you at least want a veteran until you find your young guy, because veterans can do all the little things that you don't have to teach. You know what I'm saying? So I think Mason Taylor is going to be fantasy valuable. Fantasy valuable with Tyrod Taylor there. So I'm willing to play Mason Taylor and stream him against the Baltimore Ravens too. Even though Kyle Pitts is a really good coverer, he's a good defensive back when it comes to covering tight ends. Right. And like Ed Tay says, a tight end is the quarterback's best friend. All right. And the last but not least is going to be Darnell Washington. And guys, when you say, listen, that's what I don't know he's going to get targets, but when I watch him play, you got to put that on your team. The way I see football, when I watch a 270-pound, 280-pound dude that can run a 4.6, watch him move, everybody's scared to tackle him. He pushing dudes down like they kids. You have to pick this guy up. Don't worry about the targets. This is talent. So in Dynasty, go buy this guy. Give a 3rd or 4th round pickup and go get this guy for tight end, especially in tight end premium. He's going to be good going into next year, and I think he's going to be solid for the rest of the season. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, Darnell Washington, get him. Mason Rudolph starts this week. He's going to be targeting him. Mason Rudolph spoke about Darnell Washington after the game. So that lets you know he's on his radar. You better take that key. You better take that key. Okay, so let's move to the DST. I only got one DST, guys. It was so tough. I went through all my leagues that I do DST on, and I only could find one team that was worth picking up, and it was the number 1 team that was on waivers. The rest of them, I'm not playing them, and if I had to, I don't want to tell nobody I'm doing it because I don't feel great about it. But it's going to be the Jags versus Arizona. So I'm going with the Jags. Now, listen, I do believe that Arizona with Jacoby Brissett can score in garbage time. So maybe this is not the play. But if garbage time is not going to really hurt you and you just need a couple turnovers, maybe the Jags is for you. But I'm nervous about the Jags because Arizona and Jacoby Brissett, this offense fits him. And so he's a vet. You see how better he's getting. He's better than he was 3 years ago. Jacoby Brissett has always been a solid backup, but he's a lot better than he was 3 years ago. So that's why I tell y'all, be patient with players and don't say they suck, because they can make a believer out of you. But yes, I like the Jags against the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Guys, let me tell you, y'all about to laugh. Listen, I gotta go tinkle, right? And everybody in here, and some of the new people, go ahead and laugh at it. I'm going ahead and tell you, I got to go tinkle. I don't want to say anything to get flagged. So I'll be right back. Give me 15 seconds. Okay. I'm in here. Yes, Father 3, I did leave you in charge. And tell them what's going on. All right. Let's see what we got here. Appreciate everybody being in here. Yes, sir. Guys, sign up if you become a member of the channel. If you want to show support, I also offer consultations. If you trying to get ready for this 4th quadrant and you're trying to get into the playoffs and you need to make some important moves, you might need to get a consultation or sign up as a Phenom member and get your first consultation free, which is a $50 value, but you can get it free if you sign up as a Phenom member. So become a member of the channel. South. What's up, bruh? He says, what up? I have Bucky and I'm in white with the number 2 waiver. Should I get Tucker or someone else like Wilson or Gainwell? I would probably get Wilson because you got Bucky, right? So you're never going to really need Tucker. Bucky's getting ready to come back. If Bucky was out for the rest of the season, then yes, I would say get Tucker. But why would you get Bucky and then have Tucker? And then Bucky's taking targets from Tucker or carries, and now you just got locust eating locust, right? You got a lot of stuff there that's not really giving you fantasy points. So I probably would aim at the Wilson if I wanted to use it, or Gainwell, or don't use it at all. You got Bucky and White. Unless you need a running back really, really bad. If you need a running back bad and you don't got anybody to play, then yes, I would spend that number 2 waiver wire on Tucker. But by you having Bucky, man, I don't think it's good for you to spend your number 2 waiver wire priority. I will hold on to that. I wouldn't pick up any of those guys. Maybe if I was, it would be Wilson. I would try to green bean Gainwell or somebody else. I will hold on to that until I can make sure I get a real true stud that's going to start for me for the rest of the season. I will hold on. I don't know your record, South, but I just don't want to use it on too many Tampa Bay guys where Bucky comes in there and Sean Tucker's only getting 8 carries and Bucky's getting 15. And Tucker's only getting, 8 points in fantasy? That's not enough for the number 2 waiver priority, if you ask me. But if you're just trying to squeeze, then I think it's okay. If you just want to make sure that you got a backup for Bucky because you already had White, I get it. Yes, sir. Sport Dog said, TD 100, hope it's going good for you at home. Yes, sir, bro. Big Will says 100. Yes, sir. King of Nike says, peace and power, King. Pray all is well, brother. Yes, sir. Will Hayes says, what's up? Should I drop Tez Johnson or Parker Washington to pick up Christian Watson? Yes, I would. Now, listen, Tez Johnson is going to probably have some good games before Godwin or Mike Evans gets back, and that's okay. But Christian Watson is a 30-point, 40-point, 30-point, 40-point, 30-point, 40-point guy. And you got to get that into your lineup if you can. Over a guy like Parker Washington, who has a lot of mouths to feed. Pause. Right? You know, I mean, I would say Trevor Lawrence has a lot of mouths to feed, so you can't really count on Parker Washington. And Tez Johnson is a touchdown-dependent guy. I like him as a touchdown-dependent guy, but I'd rather have Christian Watson, who's the number 1 with no Josh Jacobs on the team. So I probably would drop Parker Washington. Ed Tate says Gainwell or Wilson. Well, listen, if Jalen Warren is out, it's Gainwell. So you have to make that call tonight. Is Jalen Warren going to be out? Then go get Gainwell. That's easy. If Jalen Warren's not going to be out, then you got to get Emmanuel Wilson. To me, I saw it in the chat earlier. Wilson I don't think he's going to be a league winner or anything. I think Gainwell is better than Wilson. I'm not saying talent. It's just his opportunity to put up fantasy points. Sports Dog says, TD 100, week 11 was my 3rd win in a row. I'm in 4th, 6-5, but so is the guy in 5th. I need to drop 2. I think Vidal and Johnson would work for me since they're on a bye anyway. Sound okay? No, I'm not dropping Vidal unless the rookie is coming back. If the rookie ain't coming back, I'm not dropping Vidal. I want to see one more week of him playing bad before I drop him. So I would tell you to go drop somebody else. If you want to drop Quentin Johnson, that's okay, because I'm pretty sure you deep at wide receiver, but I'm not dropping Vidal. You don't never drop a starting running back. Never. If he's starting on the team and he's getting 15 touches, I'm not going to drop him unless I got Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and James Cook, right? Then I got to drop him. But other than that, I'm not dropping no starting running back. Got a super chat from Big Will. He says, "Get me another chip. I'm 9-2 in my main leagues, bro. Let me see your team. Tell me who your team is. Let me see that team, man. Let me see if that's some of the guys that I said, man. I'm proud of you, bro. Keep killing it. Keep killing it. All right, I got another super chat in here somewhere from Wave Runner. I'm sorry, man, because it don't pop up unless it's over. If it's got to be $4.99, and I'm not telling you got a super chat with $4.99. I just got to make sure that I'm paying attention at all times. I didn't see that, so I apologize, Wave Runner. He says just traded Woody for Marvin Harrison. Thoughts? I love it, especially if you need a wide receiver. You needed a wide receiver or wide receiver depth. I like it. I love it. Marvin Harrison is going to get hyper targeted by Jacoby Brissett. Good job. Appreciate the super chat, guys. Appreciate the super chat, guys. Seven. What's up, Seven? He says, what side do you prefer? Derrick Henry, Michael Wilson, or A-Chain? Derrick Henry and Michael Wilson, because Derrick Henry and A-Chain, even though A-Chain balling out, Derrick Henry is still elite. So whatever I'm getting more value with, I'm getting more value with Derrick Henry because I'm getting Michael Wilson, who I think now he's going to be a wide receiver too. He ain't going to be better than Marvin Harrison once he comes back, but he still can give you at least 10 points or better as a wide receiver too now, especially after he's played, because you know what the coach is going to do, the offensive coordinator? He's going to say, listen, we got to design at least 3 or 4 more plays for Michael Wilson. He balled out. When you ball like that, they will reward you. It's like at a job. If you go and work overtime for 6 months all the time, you probably gonna get a damn raise, a nice raise, and they're gonna tell you not to tell nobody. So they might pull Michael Wilson into the office and say, listen, man, we're gonna get you the ball a little bit more. We're gonna design more plays for you. We like how you look, man. You went out there and you balled out. That's what we drafted you for. King Sirius, what's up, bro? He said, you think Stefanski should be fired? Yes and no. So listen, man, he should be fired. So no, he should be fired. If they made him take Shadur, that's unfair. So maybe he ain't gonna resign where he don't get his money. So he wants to be fired because he has to coach players that he didn't want. And no coach really likes owners to do that to him. Very few times you see that. Most of the time, even if it's not your guy that you wanted, you okay with the guy. So I think Kevin Stefanski was put in a bad situation that they saw that Shadur was a value. The owner didn't want to keep going with this fade Shadur, so he drafted him. And now Kevin got to deal with that, knowing that Dylan Gabriel was his guy. Now, it doesn't matter that Dylan Gabriel is not better than Shadur. That's prerogative. If you want to fire him because he wanted Dylan Gabriel over Shadur, then that's his own beast. He said second half action against Baltimore was the first time the Shadur had ever played with the first team offense since he was drafted by the team. What? Well, this is what I would say. I wouldn't give Dylan Gabriel no snaps if I had drafted Shadur in the second round. I wouldn't give. I mean, I probably would be the same coach. I might give him some snaps because Shadur could go down, but I'm not giving Dylan Gabriel. So you got to understand, Kevin was made to take Shadur, so he don't want him. So if you like J-Lo and your homeboy, he kind of like lukewarm, and he get J-Lo, and he's talking shit to her, not hugging her, not being polite, you gonna be like, bro, are you crazy? But he don't want her. He don't want her. So Kevin Stefanski don't want Shadur. So he's like looking at y'all like, y'all sitting around and y'all kissing this dude. Like, you know what I mean? I wanted to say something else, but y'all jocking this dude. I don't want him on my team. I don't care if Dylan Gabriel's not as good. So that's unfair. I don't want nobody to make nobody take a player that they don't want as a coach. Voltron says Gabriel was taking first team reps when Joe Flacco was the team starting quarterback because Dylan Gabriel is his guy. Just like if I'm with my girl and I really love her, I'm gonna be giving her money, giving $200 or $300 a week for allowance. But if I get with a girl that I'm not into, shit, I might not never come home and hopefully she break up with me. Right? That's the thing. That's the difference. Ty Eagles, he says this should be a good game for Sanders to play in. I agree, Eagles. I agree with that. Big facts. Poppy Russ. I don't want to call if you're a grown man, I'm not calling no grown man Poppy. I gotta start quitting being anchor man and reading every damn thing I say. But yeah, bro, I appreciate you here, Pat. He says, hello. Father 3 says, Pickens. Yeah, Pickens balled out. You see Pickens pushing people down, carrying people. Pap says, tough video. Thank you. He says, you're a good YouTuber. Thank you. I appreciate that, Pap. Voltron says, you think Chase deserves a 2-game ban for lying about spending? It don't matter about lying. No, he don't deserve a 2-game. You've been giving everybody a game. You need to get through this season or make a call right out. Give him 1 game, and then you change the rule right now and say, if we catch you spitting anywhere near a human when you interacting with them, you automatically suspended 2 games. But you cannot let Jamar Chase be the poster of that for 2 games. You gave everybody 1 game. So you can't give him 2 games. You got to make it right now. You got to stop it right now, and then you make that claim, and nobody else will spit again. You see how infiltrating the gates make people do things, guys? And listen, I hate to get off topic real quick, but when you think we see infomercials and commercials during the Super Bowl, you don't think that tells us to go buy that shit, to go buy Doritos, to go buy sodas, to go buy water, to go do that shit? So they've been seeing people spit. Jamar Chase ain't never spit. He ain't never spit on nobody. Soon Jalen Carter spitting, then he's spitting. That's why you have to be careful around your kids, cussing, all of that. Because when something gets in somebody's mind that they kind of respect, they know you're a good player, or they know that you are respectable as a parent, a friend, they'll start doing it. We as humans are just like cattle. We get together and herd together and do the same shit. So it's weird that why is Jamar Chase spitting on somebody? Why is 2 people that spit on somebody this year? Pap says, you're the best. I sub. Thank you. He says, Gainwell is good. Yes, Gainwell is good. Gainwell's going to be good as long as Jalen Warren is out. Father 3 says, drop Loveland to Stash Tootin. No. No. I don't. I know you got Iden, man. I think we need to get to somebody else, Father 3. Now, let me tell you this. If you never going to be able to get to Loveland because you just feel real solid for your team, far as you got Iden, you got other players that you will always put in, then do it. But if you ever think about Loveland again, if you make this move, I think it's a bad move because Loveland do got good value and he is trending. It's the same thing with a relationship. If you are going to break up with a woman and move on to another woman, you better not want to go back. If you go back and you think about it, you made a mistake. Make sure that you express every avenue that you can before you make a decision in life. Same thing when it comes to fantasy. Make sure that you say, okay, Loveland. Okay, Loveland. What I need him here. What I need him here. What about my bye week? Okay, this. Okay, I'm good. I'm done with him. Get him off your team and don't worry about him. And if you see him act on the waivers again, you can pick him up later. That's the move. But I think Loveland, man, only reason why I'm telling you, because I love Tootin as a stash. But the only reason why I'm telling you Loveland, because, bruh, he's gonna be he's part of Ben Johnson's game plan. MVM says, TD, you're the man, my G. I won because of you. What was that, MVM? What was it? What did I do? What player did I tell you? Pap says tough. Father 3 says Bryce Young. Uh-oh, I might have jumped the gun. Bro, yeah, I get it. I ain't necessarily talking about you, bro. But listen, you got to be careful saying guys suck, man. You just got to, man. You never know. You see it in life. You ever see it on a girl? You ever seen these girls that they be like 250, almost 300 pounds, and they lose all that weight, and they be a dime? You be like, damn, her face pretty as hell. But she always had like a pretty face, but it was because she had a lot of weight on her. So you could, it was big, but it was cute. It just was a big face or big head. And they start losing that weight, and that face starts slimming down. They start getting that diagonal with that chin, and you see them female eyes and shit. It can change. That's why I don't sit around disrespect no woman. My daddy told me that. And listen, I hope I don't get flagged by saying this. But my dad used to tell me, don't be mean to no woman. You don't never know when you might want to get with her, right? That's what I'm going to say it that way. My dad used to tell me, don't treat no woman bad. You said, oh, you ugly, you fat. No, 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 no. He said you might want to be with her at some time of your life. So be careful. It's the same thing when it comes to fantasy. I told y'all guys I was born in a Looker house. I got all these sayings from the Looker house. I was a Looker house baby. My dad was a bootlegger. I was raised around all these grown 30, 40-year-old men. They all done passed away now. My father done passed, all his friends. Not all of them, but a lot of them passed away. And they taught me a lot of stuff, man. Real value, real sayings in life, real things about life. Voltron says, don't go overboard on Wilson. I agree. Who might be worth almost nothing if Jacobs is able to play this week. Facts. Big facts. And even if he ain't able to play, he might not be a league winning guy. Big Will says, I was thinking about Christian Watson, but I don't want to get upset if he gets injured mid-game again. Right, but you still need to have him on your team in case something happens. So I still would stash him if I can. James Bryant, glad to see you here, bruh. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. This is cutting edge content, my bruh. He says, should I drop Wandale sometimes? He is good, sometimes he isn't. Right, yes, if you picking up for a valuable running back like a Tootin, yes, I would drop Wandale Robinson probably for Tootin because you don't want ETN going down and then Tootin is a value. You listen, guys is going to win these weeks or guys are going to have these handcuffs, these stash guys because it's getting cold. Running backs are getting woo down. Things are going to change. So you want to be ready when your bingo card is called. 67 R. No, I mean, I said R. 67. That could be Tootin. If that number is called, oh, I got Tootin. We starting this week. That's what the game is of fantasy. It's all about having your guys and your team, and you letting the football gods, so to speak, call your number. B44, O63, I5, and when you got that player, you hit. So you want to have many as running backs. Wide receivers don't get hurt that much. Rarely do they go down. They go down, but rarely. And if they go down, nobody's really going to come in and do what a Michael Wilson did. You rarely see that. Usually, if you ain't that type of caliber player, you're not going to do that. Bob says May or Hurts. We're going with May all day, bro. The matchup is gravy. Dean James Talley, what's up, bro? He says behind the dumpster. James Bryant said their coaches aren't good. I think you're talking about either the Browns or another team. But yes, a lot of bad coaching out there. And I don't want to say bad. They know football, but they don't got no essence. They can't see the difference between Shadur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel. That's the difference with a lot of these coaches. They know so much football, but they don't know shit. Same thing about music. It's guys right now that can't play music on they can't read music, but they can follow a tune and they can play. But they can't read it at an education level, right? That's why a lot of this shit is overrated. Like and I say this, I'm better than probably 70% of the GMs in the league. I said what I said. Only time I'm gonna tell. If I don't let me mess around and get a GM job, I'm gonna come back to this time. Y'all remember what I told you? King Sirius says Ollie Gordon continues to be a Dolphins primary goal line back. I'm stashing. I've been telling you about Ollie Gordon. If anything happens to A-Chain, Ollie Gordon's gonna get a bell cow role. And Miami is playing good. Let's clap for Mike McDaniels. Who we all said he should be fired. I might have said, I don't remember. I rarely say that type of shit, but I maybe did because it got bad. When Tyreek Hill got hurt, I was mad. So, but this Mike McDaniels he's a great offensive mind. Great offensive mind. After winning with Tua and Ollie Gordon. And all he got is A-Chain and Waddle. DJ Sats giving it up. Father 3 says, okay, here he laughed. He said, Father called him behind a dumpster. I got 3 daughters. I hope and pray. Right, bruh. Right? That's a father's worst nightmare, to come and get his daughter out of somebody's house. Right? And you know what she been doing in there because you are a man and you know what you did. You know what you did to your girlfriend. So thank God that I had a son. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Because I don't want to go through that. I don't want to. And they say that womanizers, men, have daughters first. Like, it's God's way of saying, well, since you did that to all them girls, here you go, buddy. You got your daughter now. This is your daughter. So, Ed Tate says, tight end, quarterback, best friend. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big Will says, thought on Andre Yoshevich since Jamar is suspended. You can play him, but I think you can go to somebody else and be better. But if you need to play a guy, yes, of course that Yoshevich would be good because he's going to get 7 to 8 targets, but I wouldn't count on it. I wouldn't want to go and stream that just because he's playing with Joe Flacco. He ain't Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is a star. That's it. T. Higgins and Chase Brown. Rashid, what's up? He says, just traded Ibuka for Tyrone Tracy and Woody. What you think? No. I can't agree with that, Rashid. Why would you trade Ibuka? Because he gave you one bad game? No. And for Tyrone Tracy, who's in the committee, and Devin Singletary looks good, looks better than him sometimes. And then you're going with Woody, who they saying that Mixon could come back, but he probably won't. And Woody getting a lot of value. That offensive line is bad, so he's still not putting up numbers, but he can put up numbers on certain weeks when the matchup is good. No, I'm not giving up no Ibuka, who is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL in fantasy, just to get to Tracy and Woody. That's me, bro. I'm just keeping it real with you. You know? MVM says, should I pick up Mooney or Michael Wilson? I have Marvin Harrison Jr. I will pick up Michael Wilson since you have Marvin Harrison Jr. That way you know somebody gonna ball. Michael Wilson gonna ball or Marvin Harrison gonna ball. Mooney, we still gotta hurt Kirk Cousins. Kirk, not with the T, but with a K. Kirk can ball out and help Mooney. Corey B says, go be legendary. Come on now, man. Don't tell me no stuff like that. I love that. Let me tell you something about my mom, man. My mom is very eccentric. And I'm a man. I got a lot of my mom personality, but when I get angry, I got my dad personality. I will, if somebody come at me, I would turn and I will hurt you. I'm just telling you, you ask any of my friends and any of that, I'm a great person, but I don't like nobody trying to bully me or come at me because I will stand up to it. But let me tell you something. My mom, as a young mom, you spoke a lot of life in me. That's why I'm crazy or I'm brilliant. My mom would tell me, hey, go save this family. I need you. We don't have money. You're going to be the first one to make us money. Come on now. My mom used to tell me that, hey, buddy, I love you. I had you. I knew you was going to be special. Sometimes she'll be drinking saying it. I didn't give a damn. She meant it. That's my mom. My mom was a great woman as far as being like she got a great heart. So when somebody tell me gonna be legendary, I'm gonna go be legendary, and that's what I'm doing now. And that's how a lot of people have fell out of my life. I'm trying to be great. A lot of people don't like that. They want me to be average and want to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of my life. And a 9 to 5 doesn't mean that you're not being successful. I just want to spend time with my family and go and live my bucket list life. I don't want to be working a 9 to 5 and break my back and my feet swell up by the time I retire. That's the thing that I saw from my uncles and my father. But I just wanted to let y'all know that, yes, go be a legendary. That's what I want everybody in this live right now to go chase your dreams. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it. Y'all, any of y'all hear the JJ Fish? This dude can't sing a lick. But he can sing a lick because he got 90 million views. You tell me how many big-time artists, including Trey Songz, including Chris Brown, they got 90 million views on a video, on a music video. Come on now. So that tells you it's not about the talent. It's about the effort that you put in. Holy Inspiration says, I would prioritize Wilson over Gainwell. Jacob seemed more likely to miss time than Warren. Gainwell could end up splitting with Caleb Johnson. But this is the only thing that I'm saying, Holy. Are we sure that Wilson are going to be good? Is he going to break runs and score touchdowns for us in fantasy, or he's going to get 14 carries for 45 yards? Because just because you're getting a starting role doesn't always make that you're going to be a baller. Maybe he could be. I could be missing it. I'm not saying he ain't. I'm just a little bit nervous. He doesn't seem, to me, I'd rather have Tootin starting than to have Wilson starting. I think it's more talented backups out there. Stan Stees, he's laughing. What's up, bruh? Father 3 says he left me in charge. Everybody listen up. Yes, sir. Hennessy Black in the building. Hennessy Black in the building. He says, is Worthy worth Washington? If so, priority. Yeah, Worthy is brave. Yes, he's worth Washington. You got to have him on roster. He should not be on any waivers because he can boom. So yes, he's worth a roster spot. Darius T81, what's good, bruh? Holy Inspiration says Ja'Cory Carson Merritt has played more snaps, but Rodriguez has been the more effective RB. Are you putting a waiver claim in? Yes, it depends on what I need. If I don't need a running back, because I got a lot of running back depth this year. I went robust RB in a lot of my leagues. So I'm not picking up a lot of running backs, right? But yes, I do think Rodriguez is worth a play. I like Rodriguez over Wilson. That's just me personally. I like Rodriguez over Wilson. Emmanuel Wilson. Big Groin, what's up? He says, I'm dropping Matthew Golden, yes, for a high-end running back handcuff to get ready for the playoffs. Thoughts? You said it. It's nothing for me to extend on. You killed it. You said it. It's nothing wrong with dropping Matthew Golden. Me, I'm in a 16-team league. I can't drop nobody, but Golden is a drop. Christian Watson then took over that role. Caden, what's up, Caden? He said, should I drop Love or Knicks for Purdy? I would drop Knicks for Purdy. Holy Inspiration says, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Stefanski will likely get the remainder of the season before a decision is made to fire him. I agree. And I'm not worried about Stefanski. I just want to see Shadur out there. I thought you was about to say Shadur ain't going to get to play, bro, for the rest of the year. That made me a little bit nervous because it's possible, man. Stefanski is crazy. I mean, he ain't crazy. He just don't care nothing about Shadur because he didn't want that quarterback. Charlene, what's up, Charlene? Big Will says Josh Allen, CMC. Okay, Josh Allen. I told people to take Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson early in your draft. Those are the two quarterbacks, or Drake May. I told people to pick CMC up in the late first. I told people to get Cook in the late second, early third. I told people that J-Mo was going to be better than Amon-Ra. I said Ibuka later, not early. I wasn't early on Ibuka. He ain't my 70% hit rate guy. But once Godwin was out and on IR the first 4 weeks, I said Ibuka. Ferguson, that's you. That's your guy. Vidal's a nice stash or pickup. Sean Tucker is a guy I like, but I talked about him a few times throughout the years. Bro, you killed it. You got 70% of my guys. I love that. That's the guys that he's drafting the way that I'm recommending. And you can see his team is 8-2. Intelligente says, you like the Raiders defense this week? A little bit. I do. I thought about it, man, but it's disgusting. I'd rather probably take the Jags. He said the Browns offense may struggle with Shadur as a new quarterback. And listen, bro, you could be right, but I can't see it that way. My process is, I've been telling y'all all year with Shadur, I can't get scared now. I can't get cold feet now. I have to stay with it. And when I stay with my shit, that's when my channel really shows itself. When I'm trying to make content for people so I don't want to be wrong, I miss out on my boom guys. I miss out on calling out a guy. So I'm not going to be scared. Shadur is my #1 waiver wire pickup at the quarterback position going against the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to go down with the ship, bro. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Scary money don't make no money. I'm not playing scared. Same way in football. When I first got out there as a freshman, I'm seeing these 6'2 dudes, 190. I'm 165, 162. I'm good. I'm strong, but I'm nervous. Once I got that first hit, I'm like, these dudes, they put their pants on just like I do. I ain't worried about it. I ain't scared. I'm going to run his ass over next play. That's what I did. So I want same thing. I'm not scared. I'm going with Shadur. I've been telling y'all Shadur all year. Curtis says you would be a Browns fan. No, I'm not a Browns fan. I just like Shadur. He says you the only Browns fan known to man. Hey, I take that, bro. Yankee says, should I drop Flacco for Purdy? So you know Jamar Chase is coming back next week. Not this week, but next week. And you know that Joe Burrow, if they lose, which they probably will lose, Joe Burrow might not even come back because the season will be a loss. I'm going to say no, don't drop Flacco. He said, I have Burrow. Okay, you got Burrow stashed. And hoping he can start week 13 and beyond. But he might not play. I still wouldn't drop Flacco. But if you have to, bruh, to go get Purdy and you okay with it and you okay with not playing Flacco for the rest of the season, no matter what's going on with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, then yeah, I'll tell you to do it. But me, I wouldn't drop Flacco because I want to make sure that Burrow is coming back before I drop Flacco. Juan Pina says, official 24 says, who for my wide receiver 2 and 3 in flex spot? I got Adams. Who for my wide receiver? I got Devontae Adams at wide receiver 1 and Jonathan Taylor and Travion Henderson at RB1 and 2. I don't know what you mean, bro. You said who for my wide receiver? Okay, so you're looking for a wide receiver 2 and 3 and a flex. Well, you know it's going to be Jonathan Taylor over Travion Henderson. Yeah, so Jonathan Taylor, Travion Henderson are your RB1 and RB2. And your wide receiver 2 and 3 is going to be Devontae Adams. I think Debo was on the bye this week. Yeah, Debo and Quentin Johnson on the bye. I go with Jordan Addison. I'm going to go with Tez Johnson and Devontae Adams for wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2. Your flex spot should be Charbonnet. And you start Jonathan Taylor and Travion Henderson. Charlene says, Saints DST has an easier schedule in playoffs. Might want to pick them up. Yeah, they don't got a lot of talent, but they do got some good matchups. Pap says he loves Shadur, or like Shadur. Wave Runner says, I also just traded Breach for Amari and Hampton. Any thoughts? I love that. Great job, because Breach ain't going to do nothing for you. Maybe he might have a good game or two, but you probably got good running back depth. But you can get Amari and Hampton. He could be a league winner. I like that move. Jay Moore says, which wide receiver would you play rest of the season? Over Jennings, Panthers, or wide receivers Watson or Mooney or Tillman? Which wide receiver would you play rest of the season? I'm probably going with Watson, Christian Watson over Mooney and Tillman and Jennings. Chris Walker says, what up, bro? What you think about Bryce Young versus the 49ers and Dak versus the Eagles this week? I'm going with Bryce Young all day. But listen, Dak, it's tough to sit Dak. I'm not going to tell you to sit Dak. I'm a guy that wants people to play their studs. Eagles defense is good. I get that. But I'm not the type of guy that Deion Sanders is on Jamar Chase and Tyler Lockett balled out last week. So I'm going to tell you to play Tyler Lockett over Jamar Chase because he's going against Deion Sanders. Usually I'm going to tell you to play Jamar Chase. And you're going to say, well, he's playing against Deion Sanders. I'm going to be like, well, I don't care. Play Jamar Chase. But I'm just going to give you, it's up to you to do what you do. So I gave you all the caveats. Bryce Young should have scored more points to Dak. That doesn't mean that you should play Bryce Young over Dak. That's up to you. But if you ask me, Satiti, well, who's going to score more points? I probably would say Bryce Young against the 49ers over Dak, based the Eagles. But either one wouldn't shock me. So you have to do with that, man, because I'm just not comfortable telling people to sit studs like Dak Prescott. But sometimes we have to make tough decisions. So I'm going to give you the tools to make that decision. Jay Moore says, thoughts on Devin Neal having a great playoff schedule? Yes, but he's a stash. Alvin Kamara is playing. He had a good game last week. So, yeah, D. Neal is a good stash, but we ain't worried about the playoff schedule because he's just a stash right now. He's just a backup. Intelligente said, do you think Stevenson gets all the goal line work? No. I think he gets some. Henderson is receiving back, not an every down back. Right. But I still think you can't put that back in the box. So I still would like starting Travion Henderson the rest of the season. And I think Stevenson gets a goal line touch here and there. Yankee says, should I wait for A.J. Brown to have a massive game before starting him? No. I thought he would have a better game versus Detroit, but he didn't. I just don't trust the Eagles offense. Have to see it before. Okay, that's fine. But I like A.J. Brown because I know that he's the number one on this team and they're going to need him sooner than later. So if you have the team to wait on it and to see it, then that's fine. That's a good strategy. Diego, what's up, bro? He's the top 3 running back waiver pickups. I have A Chain and CMC at running backs and trying to prep myself for their bye week. Top 3 running back waiver pickups. I got Emmanuel Wilson this week, Sean Tucker, and Caleb Johnson, and Kenneth Gainwell. But then, that can change weekly. That can change weekly. So any type of like Tootin, I think Tootin is a good pickup. Anybody that you think, don't handcuff your own guys unless you really, really want to. I don't think it's good to do it, but if you want to, you can. But I like Tootin. Is it another running back out there that let me see. Chuba Hubbard, if something happens to Rico. Tyler Algier, these are a couple handcuffs that you can pick up, man. But if you need to pick up a guy that can start and put him and stash him, then like I said, it's Emmanuel Wilson, Sean Tucker, or Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson ain't gonna start, but he's still a good stash. Yankee says, which is your streaming DST? Green Bay, Detroit, Las Vegas, or New Orleans? I would say I like New Orleans and Detroit. I like New Orleans and Detroit. Jay Moore says, gonna start Henderson as a high-end flex rest of the season, even though he's likely to split with Stevenson. And that's how you get those 40 points, because you're not going to wait for the perfect matchup. Henry says, I have ETN. I have $258 left for Fab. How much should I pay for Tootin? 75, just to make sure you get them. My other running backs are King Henry, Chase Brown, Sean Tucker, Vidal, and Tyler Algier. Yeah, I would pay like $75 to get Tootin. King Steven says, Chuba said he pushed himself to come back from a calf too soon earlier this season. I like that. I like that. So that tells you that if something happens to Rico, that Chuba can get back going. Yankee says, which quarterback to stream this week? Flacco versus New England, Brissett versus the Jags, or Purdy versus Carolina? Purdy versus Carolina. Jay Moore says, XL plans to play through hip injury. How risky is that? I don't think he's a young cat, man. I think Xavier Leggett is going to be good. I'll be okay with that. Diego says, keep up the hustle. Yes, sir. He said, can you see Rico booming against San Francisco defense? Not booming, but I can see him being solid. I can see him being top 24. The San Francisco run D is decent, but that passing D is terrible. Rasheed says Tyrone Tracy is better than Devin Singletary. Yeah, but that ain't how they're using it, right? So that's the thing. He says they just give Singletary all the goal line touches, and Woody Marks is the starting back. So 2 starting running backs for 1 wide receiver. That's a little bit of gaslighting, bro, in a way. That might be the wrong word to use, but you used your opinion and then you use something from the other side to make your point. You didn't use anything that's outside of you. I agree. If you want Tyrone Tracy, it's nothing wrong. Can't nobody tell you that, and you probably could be right, and you can hit. But they don't believe that. If they believe that, then they wouldn't be giving Devin Singletary's targets or giving him goal line touches. So if that's going to stop, then I think you own to something. Woody Marks is going to be fine. He's going to have some good games, and he might not have some boom games, but he'll be solid. He can give you top 24 numbers certain weeks, probably for 2 or 3 more weeks. Big Growing says, JJ Fish, I remember, dude. Voltron says, players have grown frustrated with Hurts' approach against zone coverage. They believe he's become hesitant in tight windows, leaning on checkdowns or scrambles instead of trusting what's open downfield. And he's winning games, bruh. That's the thing. That's 2 different situations. Like, they can say that all they want, but he, like, You ain't about to, y'all want me to blow this shit up so y'all can say I suck? And then when I get in and win the Super Bowl again, what y'all gonna say then? They said the same shit about him last year. They said the shit 2 years ago before that. That's the way he played the game. I'm not saying it's effective for getting the receivers the ball, but it's effective winning for that team. So I actually take Hurts' side on that because they winning. Do you want 500 yards a game from each receiver, or you want to win a championship? You can't. It's hard to do both. Ask Michael Irvin. You know what I'm saying? Ask Michael Irvin. Ask a lot of 3 championship winning wide receiver guys. They will tell you, oh, I had to let my stats go and I had to win championships. Victor says, when I die, I want 6 Cleveland Browns to be my pallbearers. That way they can't let me down one last time. Victor crazy. Ice Cold Jones says, someone drop Bo Nix and Spears. Should I drop Flacco for them? I wouldn't drop Flacco, but I would try to pick up Bo Nix if I could. If you're in the Superflex League, single quarterback, I would leave him alone. Spears is a good stash. He needs to be stashed. I can see him starting. I can see Tony Pollard getting hurt. Hennessy Black says, Saints defense over Raiders. Yes, Saints defense over Raiders. Sylvan says, go 49ers. Yes, sir. B. Silver says, Jamar Chase a for sure suspension? Yes, it's a for sure suspension. He lost the appeal. Yankee says, is Benson still worth an IR stash? Not sure if he is even practiced. Yes, he's worth it if you can wait. He might not be active this week, but he's getting there. Hennessy Black says, Shadur equals Jameis Winston 2.4 in a fantasy effect. I believe that too. Jay Moore says, thoughts on the Saints rookie quarterback? He's going to be serviceable. I think it helps Alvin Kamara like it did the last time. And I think he gets the ball to Olave and Juwan Johnson when the opportunity presents itself. Hennessy Black says, Alec Pierce at Chiefs or Worthy? Alec Pierce all day, bruh, with the matchup. Voltron says, maybe Stefanski is not the right coach to develop a quarterback. Let's not forget he also didn't get much from Baker Mayfield and got a disaster results with Deshaun Watson. I've heard you say that, and I've been telling people about what you're saying about Deshaun Watson. I like that. Cutting edge content. B. Growing says, should I drop Cade Otton and just roll with Andrews rest of the season to make some room on my bench? I don't like picking between 2 tight ends. I would rather have Cade Otton over Mark Andrews because he's going to get more targets. Yankee says, okay to start Otton this week or pick up Juwan, need points. If Godwin is out and Mike Evans is out, I'm playing Otton over Juwan. Both of them are good plays. St. Christopher said, what's up, bro? Jay Moore says, any updates on Troy A. Benson? Not right now, other than he's trying to get ready. They don't know, but he's like on the sideline. His IR, his 25-day window is open. Yankee says, start 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, and a flex from Ibuka. Okay, so 2 wide receivers would be J-Mo and A.J. Brown. My 2 running backs would be James Cook. Yeah, I'm going with J-Mo and A.J. Brown, but I like Nico. So I'm going with J-Mo and A.J. Brown for my 2 wide receivers. My 2 running backs will be James Cook and Hendo, and my flex would be Nico, but it's close between Zay too. So you can play Zay in the flex, or you can play Nico, or you can play Quinshawn. Rico is all the guys are good, man, for your flex play. You're going to be really good at the flex. But those are my guys. I'm going with James Cook and Hendo. The wide receivers I'm going with is J-Mo and A.J. Brown. And the flex, I will go with Nico first, and then I will work my way down from Nico to Zay to Quinshawn to Rico. And last comment of the night is going to be Daniel. He says, happy Tuesday. Hello, guys. Yes, thank you, Daniel. All right, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hopefully this waiver wire video helps y'all. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also sign up as a Phenom member. That way you can get a consultation so you can make sure you make the playoffs. Me and you can go through your teams and we can make sure that you are making optimal decisions to get there. I've helped a lot of people change their season around or make a move here and there to change their trajectory of their championship winning situation. Big Will says, thanks, TD. Anytime, bro. Anytime. All right, guys, y'all be safe. Peace.